What is up, guys? Before we start off today's reaction video, I do have to talk about my sponsor, the Coldest Water. So the Coldest Water makes these water bottles that help you keep your water cold for up to 36 hours at a time. They're big enough to put inside your car cup holder so you can take it with you wherever you go. Coldest Water links are in the description below under the original video's descriptions. Make sure you guys go check it out and use CistReactZ on your most recent purchase. And if you don't remember the code, it's in the description as well. What is up, guys? Today we're reacting to Game Theory, the scariest game that doesn't exist, Evertale. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to Game Theorist, and comment down below. Right in time for the spooky season coming up in a couple of days. Make sure you guys hit that like button on my video as well and comment down below some reaction video requests. I look at those comments daily and take reaction video requests daily. And make sure you subscribe if you are new. Alright, let's get into this bot. See, how could you have done this to us? I've seen Evertale ads. They look like, it looks like some scary Pokemon game. I was gonna use the word scuffed, but I didn't want to do that. I don't want to sound rude. But I mean, come on, what is going on here? And now you will be punished. What in the creepypasta am I actually viewing right now? Evertale.
Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that always delivers on what it promises. Cringy humor with
dad puns, okay theories.
Set the bar low, my friends, and you'll never disappoint. Speaking of setting a low bar, today we're talking about Evertale, a mobile game that saw our creepy lore videos and exposés on misleading mobile ads. And
I love the editing for MatPat's videos. They never fail.
Not only are the Evertale ads we're talking about today misleading, there are also hundreds of them.
Misleading?
372, in fact, as far as I could tell, ripping off everything from Pokemon to Omori to Final Fantasy and Earthbound.
Yep,
I watched.
Wow, all those games too? I literally thought it was just Pokemon.
For you. Big shout out to the creepy Evertale subreddit as well as this playlist by I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but good job on compiling everything, guys.
What is that?
A ton. Anyway, in case you weren't already aware, Evertale is a mobile monster catching game that released back in 2019. It looks like this, it plays like this, and you should never download it. Never. Not once ever, because its ads look like this.
Oh, so that's the end of the video. Wrap it up.
Purely to capture your attention.
Wait. You know, I'm not even gonna get on MatPat as a joke. I'm not gonna joke at MatPat for making a 16-minute video on this. I'm gonna get at the developers. How do they go from stealing like this look and these assets from Pokemon, and then they go to RPG
get you to download
mode
the game in the hopes that at some point it's going to go off the rails. Doki Doki Literature
I'm
Club
so
style.
confused.
Spoiler alert, it does not. No horror element, no creepy lore.
Like, how do you go to that from horror element Pokemon?
Advertising to trick unsuspecting creepypasta lovers into downloading their cash grab game, and that is not okay.
Don't worry about why I'm wearing my headphones like this right now.
Game, you could support an indie developer and give Beasts of Burden a shot. Or
Beasts
if you
of
want
Burden
something that scratches the scary RPG itch, check out the tragically ignored Omori, which is outright ripped off here in these ads.
I've heard about it, but I haven't played it.
Please do not download Evertale. Do
not
not support
Omori?
this
Let me know in the comments.
Theft and lying, all to hype up their gotcha-style Genshin Impact wannabe. I mean, Lily's Garden may have made up lore.
I'll play it if we get enough likes on the video.
Game, but at least
oh no, not this game.
I get to see Lily and the gameplay that's being shown. So again, do not download Evertale. These horror ads are a shameless ploy used by an aging game trying to get new users hooked. And you know what? It worked on me. I got hooked.
That looks so stupid.
Ads, that is because the ads are good. They're creepy. They're compelling. They're mysterious.
Like, why don't they make a game like this, but like with their own assets?
Story inside of these things? Because if you watch enough of them, some characters tend to repeat. A few of them even get consistent.
I don't want to fight you, my love.
White text warns us of the consequences of our actions and tells us that it's time to move on.
Like, bro, all this for fake advertising.
Like, in an attempt to get clicks, or is there
that takes a new type of effort and a new type of hustle. That's not even clickbait anymore. That's like,
the team and I decided to
that's a
watch
new realm.
3 hours and 22 minutes worth of fake ads in order to piece together the story.
He's wild, bro.
That is longer than
MatPat
the
is wild.
Of the Rings Return
Watching
of
all
King
that
here, people. And let me tell you, contrary to what I thought, there is a story here, and it is way better than what you get in the game itself. In fact, way better than what you get in most games these days. For those of you who haven't seen any of these advertisements, first off,
that's the security breach on the right.
Your life is better off as a result. But to catch you up, each one is around 30 seconds long,
and Anthem and Babylon.
At least one of 6 color-coded monster trainers, also known in the ads ads as breeders. We have blue, pink, orange, gray, the blonde, and the ginger. It's a bit odd that of all the colors, red is missing, but maybe that one was too close to Pokemon source material. This young group of breeders all know each other. One ad even refers to them as a team. Many of the ads are pretty formulaic. Breeder
the gate is
walks around
locked
for a bit, finds themselves a dead body, or watches a monster die, and then gets jump scared or killed. Now, obviously, since these are mobile game ads, there's going to be a lot of repeats to the format as they reuse key elements to try and A/B test which versions are going to get
7%
clicks.
CTR, 4%
Assets are used
CTR.
sometimes, characters tend to get swapped out, and occasionally the dialogue changes entirely. However, and this is where it gets interesting, the characters themselves stay consistent between the ads, retaining both their unique characteristics as well as their names. Pink is Kana, blue is Hiroto, gray is Kazuto, and ginger is Lizette. In fact, we learned that Hiroto Blue is romantically involved with Kana Pink. Orange,
I think I've seen it in one of the ads.
Due to having
I don't want to fight you, my love,
as we
or
see
whatever.
Ad number 337. And now you start
The fact
to
that
see
there's
why
337.
things get a little bit weird. Naming characters,
The fact that he has the
giving them
number
backstories
too.
in a 30-second ad, it's not just something that you do for the lulz.
That is a new
This
type
is
of
just a bunch
try-hard,
random
but we
ads
love him
that
for
were
it.
creepy for creepy's sake. You wouldn't maintain consistency like this. You wouldn't have specificity
Neither do
like
I.
this. You would just keep things as generically colored sprites. But by giving them names and backstories that are consistent and carry over, suddenly the decisions that are happening inside this world feel purposeful. They tell me that there might be more lore hidden within and that we gotta keep looking. Over the course of the ads, we watch the team go on many different adventures.
I gotta watch how
hanging out in
Mad Pet goes
summoning
insane.
circles, camping in the woods
Summoning
to roast
circles.
their pet monsters over, and hanging from meat hooks. But it's not all fun and games in the life of a breeder, my friends. There are more
I would
mundane
assume
things
not.
too, like going to the grocery store.
Seeing as the
only
world
to
they're
then
in-
find a girl standing over a dead body telling you to hold
The world that they're in,
bloody
where they
knife.
die.
Blue says yes, and suddenly the girl is trying to frame him for murder. Speaking of Murder Girl, in another trailer, number 8, she says that it was her monster that did the old stabby stab, and that it's up to you to bring it to justice in the room next door. Also, Murder Girl, yeah, she might just be the missing red breeder that I talked about before. Now, while all of that might seem random, throughout the ads, one theme consistently comes up: capturing monsters and then killing those monsters. It's the classic argument against Pokemon. Oh, they're just enslaving animals and then getting them to fight each other. Except here, the violence and the horror have been cranked up to the max. In many of the ads, we see glitchy text that reads, "You will be judged by the monsters you've
This is all I can really say.
In another, that by catching monsters, we ourselves are becoming a monster. And they don't mean that in the figurative way either. In multiple ads, we see a monster tied
That's why I was looking
outside
like
of a
that.
hut, desperately trying to escape. The professor explains to us that the woman inside became so obsessed with breeding that she became a monster herself. Sure enough, the ad ends with long, shadowy arms.
You have a
reaching out of the
Pokemon
house
long
to
enough, you turn
consume the
into
trapped
one?
creature. It's actually pretty darn similar to what we know about the Pokemon world, where, based on various Pokedex entries, we know that people and Pokemon are basically made of the same stuff. They can turn into one another. And again, the Evertale ads seem to take this very world, where based assume the trapped creature. It's actually pretty darn similar to what we know about the Pokemon world, where based on various Pokedex entries, we know that people and Pokemon are basically made of the same stuff.
I didn't know that, and I played a lot of them.
And again, the Evertale ads seem to take this very literally.
I gotta pay
In
attention
ads
to the
like number
Pokédex. I want to
353,
turn the
when
rest
cursor
around.
Scrolls over a monster, the human breeder that
I
want
wanna be a fire dragon.
underneath. So it seems like humans are indeed transforming or evolving into the very monsters that they catch, and then feeding off of each other once they've turned into monsters. And they're not just transforming into monsters either, they're giving birth to those monsters. Remember, these aren't trainers, they're referred to in the ads as breeders. And that word seems very important to the lore of this thing. In ad number 299, we watch
What
the
the
player
hell is this?
impregnate a woman using monster DNA. The resulting baby is a human-snake hybrid that gets chained up and then reappears throughout
Why
the
is
next
this
dozen
allowed?
ads or so. Her snake-like appearance actually resembles what we see in a much earlier ad, number 72, where we stumble into a church full of cultists worshipping a Cyclops angel snake. As you might expect, the monsters aren't taking kindly to any of this. It seems like some of them are rising up to take revenge. In a couple of the ads, we see that
I'm just
monsters have
baffled.
realized that the
All
capture
this
balls
in the
that
game
work
doesn't
on
even
them
look
can
like
also
this.
work on humans. Decided to turn the tables by catching humans for themselves and then forcing them to battle. That is why so many of the ads feature landscapes covered in bodies and pools of blood. The monsters are forcing humans to kill each other, just like we do with
the
Pokemon.
heck?
Now that is a lot of ideas all already. Breeding monsters, becoming monsters, worshipping monster
That's a lot of
gods,
crazy
monsters
ideas.
capturing
Too bad
and
none
battling
of this is being
humans.
put
And
to
this is all
use.
without me even mentioning the mysterious virus floating around in the air that causes characters to vomit or cough up blood. Do you want my honest opinion? I think that the marketing team for this game just took every scary trope and threw it against a wall to see what would stick. But I also think that, intentionally or not, they did create a lore here that makes sense. You see, there's still one major thread that I haven't talked about, and it brings all of these disparate ideas together. Across the ads, death is overwhelmingly common for the characters. In fact, most ads end in someone dying at least once. For
I've
example,
never
Blue and Pink are forced to battle
seen an
one another
intricate
to the death. They're
video
hit by cars, helicopters
on
crash into them,
ads.
they're trapped and eaten by
Helicopters
cultists,
crashing
and of
into
course,
them.
grabbed by mysterious shadow.
I've seen that.
But you see,
What the
it's
heck?
what
I just
happens
processed that,
after
actually.
they die that's interesting.
I already seen it.
Sometimes these deaths result in them entering an astral plane of some kind. Other times it ends with them standing over their own dead body. In ad number 94, we watch the professor get trampled by an elephant monster, only to end up in a different location. Blood underneath him as though he died, but still able to walk around without a problem. Death doesn't seem to exist in this world, and there's a good reason for that. It's because these kids, all of them, are trapped in a simulation. We see this most explicitly in ad number 42, where one of the game's characters approaches what seems to be the boundary of the world, only to find themselves reflected in a mirror. Suddenly the mirror breaks and a giant monster peeks through. And this isn't just any monster
What is
either.
actually
This is the same
going
one
on?
whose DNA was used to create our imprisoned snake girl from earlier. It seems like our player characters might be humans trapped inside of a game that was designed to torture and kill them over and over. Don't believe me? Well, we see it explicitly happen. In ad number 354, we literally see Orange get dragged into his television monitor. Doesn't get more explicit than that, but the clues were there the whole time. In a blink and you'll miss it moment right at the start of ad number 28, we can see a name for the blonde breeder, Chibakure, which translates to Earthbound Spirit. It's a human. In another ad, we see Kana, Pink, walk into a convenience store, only for the demon inside to proclaim, "I will eat you alive, because a human soul is a supreme feast." The breeders
What
in the
the
Evertale simulation
heck?
are not simulations. They are real people trapped inside of the game. And once you look at the ads this way, suddenly everything about them starts to fit together. You know those glitches that we keep seeing? Those aren't just cheap, creepy ways to transition between scenes. They're intentionally here for the lore. We're trapped in a glitching simulation. In later ads, the glitches actually become much more obvious.
How did
with
this become
objects physically
Pokemon
missing
then the
from
Matrix?
reality of that world, instead replaced
But
by
with demons
distorted
instead of
pixels.
aliens.
The scenes are literally missing things that we've seen appear in hundreds of other ads. Their simulated reality appears to be falling apart. So where does the story end? How do they escape? Do they escape? Looking across the ads, there seem to be two options. The first is to give up and be absorbed into the game's code and become part of the simulation. In ad number 322, we see the lines, "Living is hard, you can be happy if you die," flash up within the glitchy screen. Later, in number 363, we meet this bizarre blob
What the
creature that's
heck?
known as the Sage of 1,000 Eyes. It tells Orange, "The void will eventually consume the world. Do you just sit and wait for it to disappear, or become a part of me and gain eternal life?" Now, this sage appears to be related to yet another character that we meet in
Void.
ad number 140, Sato. In this ad, the gray breeder Kazuto is hit by a car. The world turns black and he finds himself floating over his own dead body. Everything glitches, and then a green ghost-like creature begins to approach him, creeping closer and closer. Translating the Japanese, it roughly says, "Welcome to the singularity. There's no time or space
Singularity.
here. I'm the one who controls the universe from behind. That's right, call me Sato." The singularity is a term for the hypothetical point in time where technological growth becomes radically faster and uncontrollable. It's normally used in reference to artificial intelligence gaining sentience, and I believe that's what we're Sato and the Sage of 1,000 Eyes represents one means of escape for our characters, to be absorbed by this ever-growing AI blob. But there does appear to be a second route here. In one very specific ad, we see Blue trapped in a red hellscape. Translating his text, his dialogue reads as follows: "I can't go back. My memory is returning to me. It seems the time has come to face the consequences of our actions." The idea
What
of
the
memories
heck?
returning does happen in a few other places, and when it does, it always tends to be accompanied by the failure of a program called Denial.exe. The best example of this
Denial.
comes in ad 40, where a breeder begins to remember and suddenly Denial.exe crashes crashes, restarts, only to see the message, denial has defeated you again. Keep pretending you're in control. It's this denial program that's keeping them trapped in the simulation. It's only once they remember their past misdeeds and accept them that they'll be able to break the simulation's hold and escape. But what did they do? What's the thing that they're in such denial about? Well, it all goes back to that imprisoned monster snake woman. We know that the breeders were conducting experiments on monsters. In fact, we know that they were mixing human DNA with monster DNA to get these terrifying results. I think these experiments went too far and had unintended consequences. In ad number 336, we see Orange descending down a long elevator into an underground lab. There, he's attacked by a mysterious fleshy creature.
Bro,
it happens so quickly that you can't quite make out
I just
exactly
cannot
what it is.
say
But if
too
we
much.
watch
It's
ad
just
number 30, suddenly
all this is
everything's
just
set.
crazy
Here,
that
we're
Matt's
back in the
just
same
got
lab,
all this
and our
evidence put
breeder
together
gets
for
attacked
it.
by a fleshy zombie.
Like-
Something about the genetic experiments with monsters went wrong to create these horrific humanoid creatures, and that in turn gives way to one final set of trailers that I've yet to talk about. Ones that look a whole lot different from everything we've covered so far. Ones that look like this.
What the heck?
These ads are unlike anything we've seen before. The child crying has his mouth filled with words for help. People no longer look like people, but rather monsters. This, I believe, is the real world. The world that was created by our quote-unquote heroic breeders. This is what Blue was talking about in that other ad. The actions that they have to face the consequences for. They were literally creating and breeding monsters, but then they played God a bit too much. They pushed things a bit too far, and suddenly they wound up breaking the fabric of humanity. The world, the real world, is now filled with twisted, horrific monsters. So there you really have it. The story for a game that doesn't exist. The hidden lore within the messed up world of Evertale.
This would have sold millions!
A world where breeders played God a bit too much, started to experiment too broadly with monster DNA, and created twisted humanoid zombies out for blood. A world where their successful creations like the Snake Girl are imprisoned in a basement somewhere, hidden from the rest of society, but worshipped by many. A world where breeders are pulled into a simulation made to punish them repeatedly until they're finally able to stop their denial and accept the consequences of their actions.
Thousands,
To tell you what, when I first started researching for this episode, I didn't know what to expect. And I certainly didn't expect it to be anything coherent. But it turns out that this is the perfect kind of story for a channel like ours. If only someone had bothered to make, you know, an actual game like this, rather than leaving it confined in the realm of ads. So, dear Zigazza Games, stop making deceiving ads to sell a boring cookie-cutter gotcha game, and instead focus on making the game and lore that you've been promoting. It's good, it's messy, and clearly you threw a lot out there to see what would stick, but you get what us theorists are after. It's dark, it's scary, it feels like a puzzle that we can solve, and it has this great moral message about the hubris of mankind. At the end of the day, you would have a creative product that gets people excited, that gets them to talk, something that spawns a franchise that you can be proud of. Who am I kidding? Where would the microtransactions
I'm actually like
go? But hey,
I'm actually
that's
mad.
Just a theory. A game theory.
I figured I'd just re-record the outro because I was just so baffled on how they created all those like false advertising ads for lore that's not even going to be put to use, or gameplay mechanics that's not even going to be put to use. It just made me super freaking mad and I couldn't even talk. But yeah guys, so that was another game theory. I've never seen anybody actually like put false advertising together in a video and actually made the false advertising out to be better than the original game, which in this case it actually is. So yeah, if you guys want more game theory, comment down below. Hit that like button on this video. Please hit that like button. Comment down below some reaction video requests. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you have not. And let me know if MatPat's ever done anything like this before in the comments. Like, let me know if he's actually done this in a specific video, and I'll definitely react to it, because that was unique. That was a unique bit of content for me.